Well, good evening and welcome to our City Council study session of April 15th. We've got a number of exciting public appearances and proclamations this morning. So let's start this off with the clerk calling the roll.
Mayor Hartke.
Here.
Vice Mayor Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Encinas. Here. Councilmember Ellis.
Here.
Councilmember Stewart.
Here.
Councilmember Orlando.
Here.
Councilmember Poston.
Here.
We have a quorum.
I'm still laughing, sorry. All right, for our scheduled public appearances, if Councilmember Poston can join me up front. We have a few proclamations, and the first is Karen Self Day. Karen, would you like to come join us? Karen and team. So I'm going to read a proclamation and then give you the opportunity to share, have the mic and share, if you so choose. Whereas the city of Chandler takes immense pride in recognizing the exemplary achievements of its esteemed citizens, and whereas Karen Self, a dedicated leader and mentor, has demonstrated unparalleled commitment and passion in her role as the head coach of Seton Catholic Preparatory Girls varsity basketball team. And whereas Coach Self's unwavering dedication, strategic brilliance has propelled the Seton Catholic basketball team to unprecedented success. Somebody likes adjectives. Culminating in her remarkable 800th victory on November 21st, 2023 against Notre Dame Preparatory. And whereas her leadership extends far beyond the basketball court, instilling in her players the values of teamwork, sportsmanship, and perseverance, shaping them into not only outstanding athletes, but also exemplary individuals. And whereas Coach Self's impact resonates deeply within the Chandler's community, inspiring countless individuals with her tireless work ethic, unwavering integrity, and boundless passion for the game. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Hartke, Mayor of the City of Chandler, Arizona, do hereby proclaim this day, Monday, May 15th, as Karen Self Day. Woo!
Well, thank you very much for this. This is amazing. I was not prepared to speak today, so I just want to say thank you so much for recognizing all of our girls' hard work and accomplishments over the years.
Do you have a particular moment in coaching that you're saying, I will remember this, or a particular victory?
There's been a lot of really great moments. I would say coaching my sister in the state championship in 1999 was a pretty good moment. But yeah, just I feel like just the relationships that I've had with my players like stand out more than any one game or practice or anything.
Excellent. Well, let's take a photo.
Okay.
All right. I want you to be in the center. Victor, you come here. There you go. Now we're color coordinated. Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you, sir. Hey there, how you doing? Congratulations, Coach.
Our next proclamation is Fair Housing Month. If Jeff Christian and Leslie Peralta can join us. And Councilmember Poston, would you like to read this one?
Okay. You want to sit in the middle? There we go. Whereas April 24th marks the 56th anniversary of the Title 9, 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1960. I didn't know there was going to be math. I'm sorry. Of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, known as the Fair Housing Act. And whereas the act provides equal housing opportunity for all, regardless of race, color, religion, sex, including gender identity and sexual orientation, national origin, familial status, or disability. And whereas the city's non-discrimination ordinance prevents discrimination based on ethnicity, age, sexual orientation, gender identity, veteran status, and all members of our community have the right to be treated fairly and live their lives with dignity, free from discrimination or disparate treatment. And whereas equal opportunity housing is a fundamental right of our nation, state, and city, and when housing is denied, the quality of human life is greatly diminished. And whereas the Neighborhood Resources Department provides ongoing fair housing education and services to Chandler residents, landlords, and businesses to promote awareness of fair housing principles, practices, rights, and responsibilities. And whereas the City of Chandler recognizes and values the efforts of those who seek to reduce barriers to full and fair housing opportunities. And whereas April is designated nationally as Fair Housing Month. Now, therefore, Kevin Hartke, Mayor of the City of Chandler, do hereby proclaim April 24th as Fair Housing Month.
Sure. Well, for us in Neighborhood Resources, we sleep, eat, and breathe this every day of the year. And so it's a priority for us no matter what time, but we love this month because we know that there's a spotlight that's shining on it and it becomes something that is better known by everyone and hopefully can become something everyone embraces more and realizes there's a need for it. So we really appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Right. Well, let's take a picture. And our next is a recognition for the Fair House. Well, we also got Fair Housing Kids Poster Awards. Are you guys part of that too? All right. Just as we announced, April is Fair Housing Month in Chandler, and we are excited to recognize young artists that have created beautiful posters for the celebration of this year's theme, Love Your Neighbor. And there are a number of those out in the foyer, and Ryan Balk is going to take it from here.
Thank you, Mayor. So part of our responsibility as recipients of Community Block Grant Development Funds is to affirmatively further fair housing. So we do this in a number of ways. We do fair housing education to both residents and landlords throughout the year. And we also provide information and referral to residents who feel like they might be experiencing discrimination. So this year, this is our first annual. We created the Kids Poster Contest, and this is just another way that we're trying to reach out to families to help them have those conversations about what fair housing is. And through this initiative, we provided educational information specifically for youth and invited youth grades 1 through 6 to submit posters about fair housing, and this year's theme was Love Your Neighbor. So we received many wonderful submissions, and I just realized that I didn't pull this up, so give me 1 second. There we go, because we want to show off the submissions. So we received many wonderful submissions, and today we're going to honor 4 honorable mentions and 3 winners, one for first, second, and third place. So we do have certificates of recognition and gifts for each of our selected participants. So I'm going to read their names off one by one. We're going to show their artwork on the screen, and as I read the names, if you could just please come up, and then when I'm done, we'll take some photos with Mayor Hartke and Councilwoman Poston. So congratulations to all the winners, and thanks for participating in our first annual contest. So our first recipient, so our first honorable mention is Manya Gadila She is 12 years old and she's a sixth grader at CTA Independence. Oh,
Oh, look at that.
and if they, did you guys see the artwork?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Archway Chandler. Congratulations, Sophia.
Oh, that's so cool. We put it right. Wow. Okay.
Okay. Our next honorable mention is Carter Carrillo. Unfortunately, Carter Carrillo is not with us tonight. His father, who is a firefighter at the City of Mesa, is actually getting recognized at the Diamondback Stadium for something tonight. So, but he is 5 years old in kindergarten at Jack Barnes Elementary School. Oops, did I miss one? Our next honorable mention is James Prestwood. He is 8 years old in second grade at Ryan Elementary School. Lillian, you can come up here and take pictures if you want. Okay. Okay, and now to our award winners. Our third place winner is Mia Nichols. She is 10 years old in fourth grade at Rice Elementary School. Our second place winner is the sister of Charlie Carrillo. So she is also at the Diamondbacks game, but she is 9 years old and fourth grade at Jack Barnes Elementary School. And then our first place winner is Jasmine Presswood, 11 years old in sixth grade at Ryan Elementary School. And point of privilege, Mr. Mayor and Council, her mother happens to work in our housing department. She is here. And she specifically works on housing for our most vulnerable populations.
Nice. That is so cool.
Okay. Or come and take pictures, parents, if you would like. Everybody smile.
Like, all right, with it. He was sliding back. He's watching the camera.
I'm very excited about this next recognition. We have Arizona Spelling Bee winners. So if Isabel Garcia and Ishay Marapudi can please join us. Tonight, we get to recognize two extraordinary Chandler students, Isabel and Ishay, is that right? Say it again. Isha, thank you, for their incredible second and third place finishes at the Arizona Spelling Bee. Congrats to Isabel Garcia, seventh grader at Kyrene del Pueblo Middle School, for placing second at the Arizona State Spelling Bee. This was her first time at a state level, but Isabel has been participating in school spelling bees since fourth grade. Isabel will be competing at the Scripps National Spelling Bee at the end of May and has been preparing hard to do that. And is that in DC? In Washington, DC. Isabel finds spelling to be a lot of fun and is excited to meet other word enthusiast and an explorer the amazing sights of Washington, D.C. Another big congratulations is to Isha Maraputi, sixth grader at Basis Chandler, for placing third at the Arizona State Spelling Bee. So clearly, Chandler showed up. Isha started learning, liking, and competing in spelling bees in first grade when she was 6 years old and kept progressing year after year. Isha is not just a spelling bee champ. She's passionate about music, a piano player, and currently enrolled in voice lessons. What impressive students we have in Chandler. Can we have one more round of applause for our winners? All right. Can I ask you now, what is one of the hardest words you've had to spell? So say it and spell it.
Um,
I put you on the spot.
About there.
Yeah. I'll come back to you. Do you have one?
decaffeinate.
All right. Spell it.
DECAFFEINATE.
Very nice. You want to do one?
Um, Prestidigitation. Prestidigitation.
Matt Burdick, if you ever put that in one of these proclamations, all right. Well, let's have a picture.
Good job, ladies.
I lost track of the syllables. Did you keep track of that one? All right. And we also have another proclamation, National Police Week and Peace Officers Memorial. And for the first time, if we can call up Chief Chapman. Two of my favorite chiefs.
Yes.
Whereas the Congress and President of the United States has designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. And whereas the Chandler Police Department plays an essential role in safeguarding rights and freedoms of Chandler residents through the pursuit of its mission to provide a safe community where people can live, work, and thrive. And whereas it is important that all residents know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their police department, and whereas that our police department recognizes their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting against violence and disorder, protecting the innocent against deception, and the weak against oppression, and whereas the men and women of the Chandler Police Department unceasingly provide a vital public service to the community and are deserving of being honored as heroes. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Hartke, Mayor of the City of Chandler, Arizona, do hereby proclaim May 12th through 18th and May 15th, 2024 as National Police Week and Police Officer Memorial Day. Chief.
Thank you to Mayor and Council. This is a great city to have such unbridled support from the community and the city manager's office and the elected personnel. It is a special place. We are happy to serve as stewards of this city and look forward to contributing any way we can.
Thank you. Well, let's take a photo.
Oh my God, too much fun with the guys.
So council, this past week, we received our packet. We were briefed by staff. We had opportunity to look, and 3 items have been called in. Item number 6 by Council Member Orlando for a presentation on the license agreement with Light Source Communications. Is Dennis Ost available, please?
There he is.
There he is.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Dennis Ost. I'm the City of Chandler's Fiber and Telecommunications Utility Franchise Manager. Tonight, I'm going to present to you on the right-of-way use application for LightSource Communications. LightSource will be providing high bandwidth, fiber-based communications and related competitive data services for high bandwidth customers such as large businesses, commercial or industrial enterprises. In the first year, they'll build a couple of backbone projects, which will allow them to build out to their target customer base. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Yeah.
Councilmember Orlando.
Thank you, Mayor. Dennis, thank you, and Dan Brown for working, and obviously Kelly Schwab, the city attorney, are working on this issue. I understand there was some concerns of the original scope of these agreements overall, and I'm glad we got some other ideas here. The question I want to make sure I understand is these have transferable clauses. So if the project's not complete or if the project is sold, we will still be indemnified. Is that correct?
Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, yes, the licenses have clauses in them for transfer of assignment and also for security bonds or letter of credits.
I understand now, so it could be based upon the linear mileage or the 2% of the gross revenue, whichever is higher. Is that correct? Just want to clarify that.
Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, it's whichever is less.
Oh,
So,
less.
so it effectively, it's whether the linear foot fee or the 2% gross revenues, whichever is less.
And the final question I want to make sure, and then there's been a lot of discussion of how the trenching will occur. So what are we doing here is actually on the streets, if
Mayor,
anything?
Councilmember Orlando. So this particular company, since they're coming in doing a backbone project, predominantly they'll be doing using conventional directional drilling methods or conventional trenching methods in arterial streets. The micro trenching that you're referring to in Chandler has only been approved on local and collector streets due to the shallow depth requirements.
And I guess this is more for the city attorney or Dan, but will all the current license agreements we have be updated to reflect these new changes, or this is just the first one?
If I may, Mayor, Councilmember Orlando. This is a new agreement, and it's based on kind of the new model we're looking at. We expect to be bringing some revised agreements forward to reflect this similar payment model. We are working diligently with a number of telecoms to bring them current and then bring that forward to the council.
Okay, great. And then hopefully start seeing some revenue. Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Good job, Dennis.
Any additional questions related to this item? Vice Mayor.
Yes, I just had a couple of questions just because I want to make sure I understand this correctly. In terms of the micro trenching, what exactly, what's the depths of levels that we're talking about here when you talk about micro trenching? Can you kind of go a little bit further in explaining that?
Sure, Mayor, Councilmember Harris, we've approved on local streets, which are your typical residential streets that the houses usually face. Uh, The depths for those are 8 inches minimum cover, and the intent there is to put us below our typical subgrade. Whereas in other cities, like Mesa, they've approved a 6-inch depth, which still keeps it just barely into that potential subgrade for what our Chandler engineering details require. On the collector streets that feed off of the arterials into those neighborhoods, those depths are 12 inches minimum depth of cover. So again, our collector streets carry a little bit heavier traffic, so we've got a slightly deeper subgrade on those, and so we require on those streets for them to go slightly deeper.
So in our areas that has alleyways and stuff like that, are we making sure that we're routing things through our alleys versus on our arterial streets?
That's currently under review. The industry, when they originally came to us with this, they presented it as this needs to be at the edge of pavement kind of installation. And at the moment, we're going through reviewing and having those conversations with them about, is this really need to be at the edge of pavement, or can we relocate those into the alleys?
Yeah, I just kind of want to make sure that, and Josh, you can support this conversation. I really would like to have more conversation about that because there's multiple developers, multiple entities who want to offer fiber optics and want to do this type of trenching. We did have a neighbor that was concerned about this trenching. I really want to make sure that we're looking at this more closely, and let's look at some of the other developments that is taking place right now, so we can make sure that we're working together if we're looking at this, and then making sure that it's addressing the issue that the last resident came to speak to us about.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, we did provide some additional information to you in a memo format. We are looking, as Mr. House mentioned, at this issue. So alleys also have their own unique challenges. There's quite a few other utilities also in those alleys as well. So as Mr. House mentioned, we're looking on kind of a case-by-case basis with each developer, each fiber company, to determine if that is feasible. And if it is so, we can certainly bring that back to you for some recommendations.
I just want to make sure that we're making sure that our developers are like, hey, you're allowing this to happen with this development, but then you're denying mine. So I just want to make sure whatever we do that is fair across the board and everyone understands and the neighbor feel comfortable with that as well. Thank you.
Our next two items called in were items number 18 and 19 by Councilmember Ellis, requesting a presentation on the home and CDGB funds. So if Ryan Balk or Leah Powell can come up.
Did not hit the right button. Excuse me 1 minute. Dylan, please. I'll let Dylan go ahead and get this started. I always have this challenge. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you very much. Before you tonight, we're going to start with the home consortium funding that we receive, or the home funding that we receive through consortium. So what you have before you is the 24-25 are planned to use our home funds. As I said before, Chandler is not an entitlement community for these funds. We are part of the consortium, and you see before you the list of the other members. There's 9 of us in total as part of the consortium. Home is focused on housing. It is focused on creating decent, safe, and affordable housing, and you'll see that the goals and priorities that we set with those funds are in line with that, and it's for individuals that are low or moderate income. The recommendations this year we're basing on our home allocations from last year, as we do not have HUD's final number. We do anticipate getting that within the next few weeks, but for now, we will base it on the dollar amount received this last year. We are recommending that these funds be used for our tenant-based rental assistance program. This is where we house up to 25 clients that were experiencing homelessness. They have a 2-year voucher while they work on either self-sufficiency or maintaining a permanent voucher. We've been running this program since 2012,
And one thing I'd like to add is we do not receive the case management dollars through HUD, but we do use our housing stability team that we are supplementing with other grant funds to be able to do the wraparound case management services for our tenants in the TBRA program. And then the small piece of program administration is only a portion of what is allowed for administration, as the majority of the administration funds do stay with Maricopa County for administering the overall home program. We have a participation plan that we participate in with the county. We are part of their annual plan, consolidated plan, and their participation plan. We held public hearings. We did not receive any public comment. You will vote on the item on the 18th, and I will note that you will have an updated attachment on the 18th for both this and CDBG that reflects the fact that no comments were received during the public comment period. And then we will submit our plan to HUD in May. Okay, any questions?
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. This was really insightful because I wanted to find out from you the money that we receive. Do we have specific things that we're going to do with them? Because I know that we talk about housing, right, broadly, and here in Chandler, we have specific things that we do, and I wanted you to kind of explain that so people can understand what we do with the money we receive. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Through the mayor, Councilmember Ellis, because the home funds are relatively a small amount of money of only just a little over $400,000, we really do try to maximize those dollars. So that's why we put those funds directed to our tenant-based rental assistance program, because we have been running that program so stably for many years. We want to continue to invest in it. We see the difference that it's making, so we want to make sure that we're taking that money and continuing to invest it in a very stable program that makes a difference.
Can you tell me how many people we have served with that money between end of last year and beginning of this year, or actually the money we received last year, basically?
Sure. Through the mayor, Councilmember Ellis, we are, like I said, we anticipate 25 vouchers. However, a household may be much larger than that. If everyone stays on their voucher for the full 12 months that are funded through the home program, which typically does happen. On occasion, we may have people move on to a different housing situation throughout that. And then sometimes it's individuals and sometimes it's family. So it will definitely depend on what that family makeup is. And I don't have the current statistics in front of us for our current voucher holders, but roughly you can be assured that we will serve over 25 people because there are more members to a household in many cases.
Are we seeing more and more elderly people in that population, or is it mainly families in transition or middle-aged people?
Through the mayor, Councilmember Ellis, we are seeing both, but we definitely are seeing an increase in people who are older and typically on fixed incomes. If they fall into homeless, and these dollars are for people who have been on the street experiencing homelessness, if they fall into homelessness, they would be somebody who would be eligible for this program. So we definitely are seeing an increase just in that demographic in general around homelessness.
Thank you. My last question is, in the group that is in the consortium, when it comes to all the other cities, do we have an equal amount that they give to each, or is there ways that we can increase ours because we have more needs, or how does that go?
Yes. Through the mayor, Councilmember Ellis, that is based on a formula that ties back to our CDBG entitlement. So it is formula based.
Okay.
The one thing that I will say is there are dollars that are set aside for what's called CHOTOs, Community Development Housing Association. So Newtown is a prime example, or Save the Family. In the past, those dollars are separate. We have had those agencies apply for those funds, and they may be granted those funds, and then Chandler will administer those programs. So that's usually about the only time you might see an increase in the home dollars. It's specific to a project that has to do with developing either new affordable rental or affordable home ownership.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor.
Any additional questions related to this item? Seeing none, council, that is all of those that have been called in. And Councilmember Poston, press to the digitation means sleight of hand.
There we go.